You know what's great about the portrayal of Led Zeppelin in the film Almost Famous is that they weren't portrayed, but instead he spoke in broad strokes about rock music in general. Hi. And welcome to Garbage Program by Garbage Man Lennon James and Alster. It's not started yet. I have to. Grunty's plan is rather cunning. When I'm thin guys will come round.
What?
Wow, that is like hashtag not something that like an ancient female would say.
I didn't.
She's like her entire value, like self-worth, is applied to her looks, and she doesn't have a love interest. She just wants to look good for the potential chance that human beings will like her because she feels unlovable. Isn't that sad? Isn't that like the plot of like Adele Dazeem's Wicked? Crazy, ridiculous, stupid.
If that's what she wants, then.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
greater agency to her.
I mean, that's not. I mean, it's not necessarily like the game designer's perception on women are valued from their looks, but maybe it's a really. It's like.
Oh no, I don't think I'm trying to say that. This is just about her. This
yeah,
is just
like maybe she has really. Well, not she's not a narcissist. She's self-loathing. Maybe she has like real self-esteem issues, and really we shouldn't be trying to stop her from turning our daughter sister into like schism.
Well, she's
and we should try to stop
have...
her from hating herself and her life. Poor Gruntilda. Hashtag it's all girl things. I have no way to go from there.
She'd obviously feel bad about herself if she were to compare herself to Tootie.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that sad that like, I mean, she's a witch, and B, you know, she's like, she's way older than Tootie. Tootie hasn't like spent 1,000 years living med school training. She's like witch school training, obviously not med school training, because witches have to study for a different amount of years. 13 years. That's longer. That's like lawyer years. And also, I'm gonna fly away.
She's just a child.
Yeah, like it's like she's
Come
full
up the pole as a ginger.
Okay, but first I'm gonna talk to my good friend Bottles. Hello Bottles, can you recommend me some good music? Do you have a Spotify playlist that I can listen to? You look like the sort of person who would have a good Spotify playlist.
Bottles is the one to blame. He's the one who just allowed Grunty to fly off with your sister.
He's dressed like Timothy Spall in the movie Life is Sweet. Put up a picture, Lyndon! I really hope Timothy Spall actually wears those clothes, otherwise I'm gonna look like a chump. I wasn't listening to anything that he said. Did he say he's going to start a new restaurant chain, and it's going to go horribly wrong, and this will be a pathos-filled sequence in a Mike Lee movie that's also humor?
No, he's the one who just stood there whilst Grunty was kidnapping Tootie.
That's
what
true.
did he do?
Yeah, he didn't. They seemed to do nothing. Although Banjo was asleep, but also, I mean, like, Tootie was like, I don't know, was Tootie in her front garden? Should we establish whether or not Tootie can and should be blamed for her victimization in this situation? Because I mean, she was outside at night wearing those clothes, in the day in her own garden. So I mean, it must be.
What are you saying?
I was making a straw man pastiche of some people's arguments about.
It was daytime. She was wearing.
Yeah, it seems like there's something horribly wrong about the Banjo world. If
Do you know where you're flying?
I'm flying in the sky. That's where I'm flying.
I'm not flying Mario.
Yes, I mean I'm not flying under the sea. That would be swimming, Alistair.
But soon you're gonna run out of red feathers and you'll die.
Or I could not. 13. That's the number of witch years that it takes for witch training. Which is awesome. I bought this comic book called Pizza Witch. Hashtag shout out to Sarah Grayley. Pizza Witch. I got a sign at MCM. Woo! This video probably hasn't gone up yet because we haven't done ADR work for it. Do you reckon my observational humor and extrapolating too far in video games is taking a turn for the worse?
I think you're just overthinking it.
I mean, I'm not.
You can put it down the door.
I'm not overthinking it. I'm doing it for comic effect, but also I feel like maybe I'm hitting a nerve because there are real places where you can't go out in the middle of the day for fear of a witch stealing your sister. And
yes.
and like I mean like Banjo, I feel like Banjo's sleeping in is not Banjo's responsibility. Like I don't know if Banjo's central like conflict in this game is like he feels responsible for like not being there to save his sister, or else he just wanted to go on a whimsical adventure because there's really nowhere else to go except like up the mountain into a big castle. So I don't know, but I really feel like Banjo should not be responsible. I'm going down here now because I decided to. Do you want to play?
Okay.
I don't know what
I'm gonna go back. and do all the things you didn't do.
Well, I flew in the sky.
Yes, but you didn't knock down the lighthouse door.
There's a lighthouse.
You can make an omelette.
A lighthouse?
And get the
it seems like having a house that's light would be difficult to achieve on account of how bricks are heavy.
Now I'm reminded of that Rick and Morty episode where they use the lighthouse to... What is it called again? Yes!
Oh.
To send that... What is it they were doing? Light signals, I think? And
Morse code?
during the
Did they
purge...
Morse code in it?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Awesome. Yes, I remember this one. And he was like, read my screenplay. Like, that was really, like, that's something I really love about that show, is that it has that really absurd, surrealist science fiction angle to it, which really works on its own right, but it also has this amazing, like, kind of observational wit, like, making those sorts of jokes that sort of appeal to a specific set of people who are like, yes, I do have to, like, I do need to do this script doctoring for someone, and I can't, they will not take any of my advice because they only want good, positive praise. I've been that person before. I've done that. I've sent it out, and people are like, "You should really change that Kanye West meme in your, in your like mental health themed gothic horror story." And I'm like, I think it's going to stay. Excuse me, man who actually does writing for a living. Like, so yeah, that's a. It's a difficult.
Do you think you can take criticism?
I don't. I think I'm a total good at taking criticism, but I recognize now that I actually need to take criticism, particularly for writing, you know, socially conscious stories, or writing stories just in general that, you know, appealing to people other than simply yourself. Appealing.
You said appealing.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, should we go and play that footage? See if you were right. See if. Appealing to people other than he was right, I'm an idiot. Obviously I'm an idiot.
I wouldn't go that far. At least you made Banjo fly with red feathers.
I mean, yeah, it takes a real genius to do that. Did you watch the movie Real Genius? That's what it was about?
No, but I saw the film Jaws, and I know what happens if you would fall into it. Fall into the ocean, because there's a shark roaming around in this level. And
what?
he will eat you. He will nibble you.
Come on in the water!
Yeah, exactly. You do not want to do that.
I mean, you don't necessarily... I feel like if there's fall damage, you're probably more liable from dying from fall death. Would you rather be fall out of a plane at a really high altitude, or fall out of a plane, or like leave a plane on a water landing and then be eaten by a shark?
The first option.
Why?
Because I wouldn't want to be shark chow.
Okay, you're dead in either of these instances. You choose how you die: shark or death by fall damage. How do you do it? If you're on a plane, you're going to die either way. Either you fall out of a plane into the sea from a really high velocity, akin to the way that Kazooie would have fallen if I hadn't spent all of those feathers and set back down on the ground, or you get out of the plane, but you're in the water, and then you get eaten by a shark.
Still the first option, because I'm sure that if I were to die either way, like you just said, my relatives and my family would like to bury me.
Okay,
recover my
but
body.
the black box is broken. This is purely about the experience of death. Okay. They'll never find your body. I could do a call out to certain Malaysia Airlines, but I won't, because I think that's disrespectful. And I feel like I've towed the line in terms of observational and also stupid meme comedy, and I don't want to bring the birds and bees over me. But like you're purely rating this on the basis of how much dead you would be. No, like how scary.
If I really want to be dead, I would
like,
go for option 2.
You want to be okay? Like I mean, it's more like would you enjoy dying from shark more than dying from fall? Which would you find scary?
No, I wouldn't.
Like, so you'd prefer to die from falling?
Yes.
Okay. Any reason why? Is it because of the big, massive teeth?
Yes, because it'd be more pain-inducing. And I don't fear death as much as I fear pain.
That seems like a reasonable response. I mean, I get that.
Why?
Like,
do you disagrey?
No, I was just purely playing devil's advocate because I'm a dick.
Really?
Well, no, I mean, like, because okay, so I mean, I imagine that falling while you die is probably a really kind of absurd kind of like way to like falling from a plane, like having that like enough time to actually comprehend your death because you like watching the ground come closer towards you or the sea come closer towards you. I reckon would be probably quite unpleasant, but also
you'd just be flailing around.
I mean, that's like a simulated 0G, so I mean that's good for about 10 seconds before you hit the ground and horrible things.
Look what I
Have you watched the movie The Bridge?
No.
It's a documentary about people who kill themselves from falling from the Golden Gate Bridge, which is a really active suicide spot. This is a dark turn for our rareware Banjo Kazooie.
Yes, it is.
There's an interview though from a man who survived it, and he gives a really like vivid account of like the sort of like mentality beforehand and then in the middle of the jump and completely regretting every action that he'd taken from that jump because every other you're supposed to go in there?
Of course you are.
But it's a mimic. Don't go in the mimic. I mean,
I just have to not hurt myself when I get out.
Okay.
Yes! That is how you do it.
Interesting.
But I wouldn't have thought that the Golden Gate Bridge was high enough to kill people.
No, it is because I mean, there's like wave surf and stuff. Should we move the subject away from such a grimly? I
don't mind talking about it, but if you want to.
No, I mean I'm not thinking of like people's emotions. I'm thinking purely of whether or not our video would be flagged as content inappropriate for advertising.
Trigger warnings.
Trigger warnings are important actually. Like, I mean, maybe there are people who had to experience victim culture and being shamed on account of being out of doors and a woman. So, I mean, maybe that should merit a trigger warning. I don't know. If you would like us to trigger this episode, please let us know. And also, we will change the title and also be very apologetic on account of how we made you very sad. Sorry, hypothetical person who may or may not exist because nobody watches that show. To you, Aston.
I like to think they do. To
Yeah.
be honest, we have good content on here.
We have great content. We have a new mic
We're
setup.
playing this game as a start.
Yay! I'm hoping that actually, like, now that we've got a good mic set, that people won't be so. I can't understand this. It doesn't. It's just. Now the only problem is that the words aren't in order. Once we now that we've fixed the microphone, sound quality, all we need to worry about is all the words that we say on this show.
Yes. Need some attention in that department.
Improv training. What's it good for?
Improv.
I thought you were gonna say absolutely nothing. And I'm like, improv.
I actually answered it correctly.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, that's. I was surprised, and the number one tenet of humor is surprise. You know what's amazing about humor?
Makes people laugh.
That is probably the most amazing thing about humor. Yes.
That's the point of humor.
Yeah. No, I mean humor and jokes and stuff. I have a really wanky way of talking about comedy and how like valuable like a communication device humor is for like us as a species. But I'm not going to do it in our Banjo Kazooie train wreck episode. So. Oh shit! And we're out of time. I just looked. We've been waffling on for quite a while. But I'll say goodbye, and also stay insane, and also.
I'll say goodbye as well. Bye.
Bye. Why does the alarm not go off? Oh, it's because I did not press the alarm?
Oh my god.